We are going to create a very basic application by using the Experience Designer application functionality. We will retrieve customer orders in allocated status through a custom list MI first. Then we will use those orders in a standard API transaction to retrieve the customer order date. Check our related video on how to create a custom list MI, as this is a prerequisite if following along. Give a name and a short name to your application and then click on Create. You will be presented with a variety of templates to get started. Today, we will be using the basic template. You can add different components to your application by clicking on the plus button and choosing from one of the available options. To delete a component, simply hover over it and click on the trash bin icon located in the black tooltip. For our app, we will select the data grid component. In here, we are going to list customer orders that are in allocated status only. We are now ready to create our first data service. Click on the icon Manage Data Services and then on the option Create Data Service. Give your new data service a name and a description meaningful enough for your current step. Once you are done, click the Add button. Next, we will select the transaction that our data service will use. Give your transaction a name and then click on the Browse button to select Program CMS 100. We will be using a transaction we created in a previous video. If you don't know how to do this yet, check out our related video for step-by-step guide. After selecting our transaction, we need to pass on certain parameters in the input to ensure that only allocated orders show up. We are going to enter 33 as a value in our From and To fields for the highest status. Once we are ready, we click on the Save button to continue. We have created our first data service. Click on the Save button and close the Data Services window to continue. As we move along, it is very important to click on the Save button at the top right of the screen. If you don't do this, your newly created data services won't be available for use in your app. Click on the Configure button of your data grid component. You can rename the data grid by changing the value of the component heading and clicking the Save button. You can also resize your components by hovering over the left or right edges of your components and dragging the edge left or right. Click on the Configure button again. In the Operations tab, click on the Read option and select the data service we created. Once selected, click on the Save button to apply your changes to the data grid component. Click on the Interactions tab and then click Add. This will tell the data grid what to do when a specific event happens. Our source component will be Application, the event will be on Load and the operation will be Read. Switch to another tab on the left. You will notice that a warning sign appears on the Interactions tab. This is a sign that you have unsaved settings. Navigate back to your tab and click on the blue Save button at the bottom of your window. Save your data grid component settings by clicking the Save button one more time on your window. And lastly, one more save on the app level to save all the changes that you have done so far to the app. Click on the Configure button one more time. We will now tell the app what data to display based on our configured data service and interaction. In the Column section, click on the Add button. The list of available fields will depend on the output fields configured on your custom transaction. In our example, we only created one output column to show the customer order number. Once you have selected your output column, click on the Save button. The data service will automatically be called and you will see the output on your data grid component. Now, we will add another component to interact with our data grid. Let's create a second data service that will use the customer order number in our data grid component to display the creation date when clicking on the order. Our data service will use the standard M3 API OIS 100MI and the transaction getOrderHead. This transaction API requires the input of ORNO, which we will feed from the source data grid component. Select that from the drop-down. The source field will be OA or no, since that is the output of our custom transaction. Click the Save buttons on the window and finally the Save button on the app level. add a form component to the app. In here, we will display the entry date of the order upon clicking the customer order from the data grid component. Click on Configure and navigate to the Operations tab. We want to trigger our Get Order Date data service, so select that one from the drop-down. Remember to constantly save along the way. To tell the app when to trigger the read operation, navigate to the Interactions tab and click the Add button. The source component will be our data grid since the order number exists there. The event we are looking for is Select, that is, clicking on a row. Next, we have to tell the component what operation to trigger whenever we click on a row. In our case, the read operation we just configured in the Operations section is the one we want. Finally, in the Fields tab we add the output field from the data service that we want retrieved by our event. In this case it is the order date. Once we select it, we must remember to save our settings. The order date field will now show in our form component. Click on one of your order numbers to trigger the event and see the API retrieve the order date. Remember to always hit that Save button. Otherwise, you will not see the expected results.